Thursday.
How's it going? How's it going?
Going great, man. We're back. I love it.
Yes, I know I missed everybody last week, but last week was Thanksgiving. So,
Right.
priorities.
Exactly. How was your Thanksgiving, brother?
It was decent. We played it kind of low key. We didn't do our usual, Friendsgiving where we invite a bunch of people over. We just kept it family.
That's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, ours turned out pretty good, except for all of a sudden I got sick and then the whole house now is sick. So I was like, oh God. So it wasn't bad.
We were all sick the week prior. So
yeah, this crap sucks. This does not let go. So I'm still doing the whole sinus and coughing. It's like, oh God. So I apologize in advance.
Yep. No, it's been like 3 months now that I've had this stupid sinus issue going on. I tell you, it's gotta just something's going around this year that just doesn't want to let go of you once it's got you.
Yeah, this crap is vicious, definitely. So let's see who we got today. So Jay Steen, my man, good to have you, brother. Nice seeing you again. Rose, my dear, always a pleasure. Great to have you with us. And BT Cases, yeah, boy. Okay, I know we got Chrome. There's Chrome. Yeah, boy, back. I love it. Okay. So, and there's Rooster, the first man in. Of course, he's here with us. Let's go. I love it. Don't forget to push the button. I did push the button. Thank you, Rose. Yeah.
Yes, we would not be talking now, or you would not hear us if he had not pushed the button.
This is a good point. You'd be going, wait, why didn't they start yet? So thank you, Rose, for babysitting me. Lord knows I need as much help as I can possibly get. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So last week we weren't here. And so that just threw everything off. By about Saturday, I was going through streamer withdrawals. It was so weird. It's like, oh my God, I should be doing something. But now we've had a lot of stuff go through the news and a lot of things happening all over the place. It's been absolutely crazy. So first thing I want to bring up is CZ from Binance. Now, we've talked about them before, about how they're over-suppressed. Now all of a sudden sees this whole lawsuit with CZ and he steps. Man, what is going on there, brother?
Yeah, I know that as far as the crypto space is concerned, because it took place a couple of days ago, it's old news at this point, but it's still pretty impactful, But if you really stop and think about it, right, CZ stepping down and the new CEO that's been appointed, right, he has a lot of history dealing with regulatory requirements. So it almost seems like this was a coordinated tactic to put someone in charge over there that would, definitely abide by the regulatory requirements that they want to put in this space. And think about it, right? You have all of these Bitcoin ETFs and everything that are waiting in the wings to be approved. Do you really think that the big money that's trying to get these ETFs approved would want to have CZ and Binance still in the position that they were in? Because they did have market dominance. Think about it. These big companies, they want market dominance. That's how it becomes easy to manipulate things, move the prices around when you want to, is you have to have market dominance. So first they had to take out Binance, essentially, and bring them to heel, essentially.
That's it. And and as we know, Binance, they've never kind of played well with others, if you will, because they did have such a dominant grip. Now, we talked about previously how they were already being suppressed and how BNB was pretty much a good choice to invest in. But now with the whole CZ and all this stepping down, it looks like they're even suppressed more. So what's your opinion? Do you think that BNB is still a good thing to invest in for a long-term bounce back?
So ultimately, the Binance Smart Chain isn't going anywhere, right? It's still going to retain its dominance. It's still second for daily volume, right? Every now and then Arbitrum pops above them, but the majority of the time Binance is still in a solid second place, right? I don't think the underlying analytics have changed. The only thing that has changed is the face of it, right? And this fine they're going to have to pay. And I know everyone's like, oh, wow, $4.3 billion fine. It's a big fine, but they get to pay it over time, right? They get to continue their operations. Does it really actually hurt them? No. It's kind of like when the SEC sued BlockFi and BlockFi lost. They had to pay, I think it was like a $23 million fine or something like that. But the SEC normally would have charged them more, but they kept it small enough so that they could have kept continued operations. They wound up closing anyway because of FTX and Alameda Research collapsing, and they were big investors in BlockFi. But the SEC is not going to fine a company more than what they can afford to pay and would cause them to close their doors, because then how's the SEC going to get their money, right?
Right.
So Binance can afford it, in my opinion. And I think that BNB is still a good longer term bet, right? Because now it's triple suppressed. So when it does go back to being correlated with the rest of the markets, it's got further growth potential percentage wise. And percentages are what we're after here in the space.
Right. And that's a good thing to keep in mind because, of course, right now the market's been kind of doing this whole weird sideways thing. In fact, I wanted to ask you something based off the charts that we talked about last time, because I started doing some research. I started drawing some lines, and I want to get your opinion on this and find out, am I doing this right? And so I figure touch back on what we talked about last time.
Okay.
So let me share my screen here real quick. And let's see, screen. I'm going to share this.
We all get to make fun of Serenity's lines. Here, we get to make fun of the lines.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay. And so here we go. We're looking at BTC on the 4-hour chart. And what I'm seeing here, this is an ascending wedge. Is that right?
That one technically would classify kind of like a flat top ascending wedge right there because of how flat that top one is. It's not perfectly flat, but it's also important to remember that sometimes wicks will poke up and outside of your trend line, right?
Right.
That happens occasionally. But yeah, flat top ascending wedge and a rising wedge both indicate the same thing,
which is a breakout. Down.
Their patterns revert. Remember, rising, like the rising wedge, it's counterintuitive. It means it's going to go down. Flat top ascending can break either way, but it generally will go down. Okay. Now this is some. Sorry, go ahead. It's very important to watch and see what it does as it gets closer to the end there. Because if it starts riding that bottom trend line more, it's probably going to break down.
Okay, gotcha. Now, something that really confused me, and I wanted to ask about this. I took it off, but I'll redraw it here. So before that one happened, I noticed this same pattern right across there. And this guy kind of did this same game right across there. So it was like a wedge into a wedge. What the hell is with that, man? Yeah, I mean, that happens sometimes, it does. You have a pattern that it can either be part of a larger pattern on a higher time frame. Because again, you are looking at the 4-hour, which is a pretty high time frame, right? So you can have a pattern transition into another pattern, or it can be part of a larger pattern that we can't see because you would have to switch over to the daily and zoom out. So that's why I'm always telling people, I'm like, check all of your time frames. Make sure that what you're looking at isn't part of something else, because you might be looking at this, falling wedge pattern. But then when you go to a higher time frame and you zoom out, you realize, oh, this is like the top of the right shoulder of a Head and Shoulders, and it's going to go down, right? So you want to be aware of that. Be aware of your macro as well as your micro. Gotcha. Okay. So once again, it's not one of those where I can say, oh, 4-hour says it's going to do this. Now I'm golden. Once it drops below that line, just grab it and go. Right. Okay. Because
here on the daily chart, look at how far away it is from all of your moving averages, the 50, 100, and 200.
Right.
It's pretty far away.
It is, absolutely. And so this is where we see now, like you talked about before, gravity. So we know this is going to dip back down to that 200 more than likely, right?
Not necessarily, because remember the 200, especially on the daily, as long as the candles are above it, it's technically a bullish market. If the candles are below it, it's technically a bearish market. That 200 is what many hedge firms use. It's what many trading bots use, and they use it on the daily, right? So You don't necessarily have to come back down to the 200, but you do have to at least touch your 50 if you went on a crazy run, right? And right now the 50 is still trying to catch up.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. And something weird is my mouse on my screen or on your screen are totally different. So I'm trying to circle the 50, which is my blue right here. And yeah, there's still a sizable gap between that. Now,
Yep.
real quick, let's go back to this for a second. And because I want to ask, because I'm learning about this stuff, and I hope you guys are too, and I hope this helps. Now, on this, what did we call this? An ascending wedge, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flat top ascending wedge.
Flat top ascending. Now, if I remember right, and you guys can laugh at me, is on this scenario, what we're looking at is the opening of the mouth. You take that side, and then once it breaks through, that's essentially where my take profit should be. Is that right?
Right. Now switch over to the daily chart. So you see how it dips a little bit below the 50?
Right.
Now, if you remember from last episode, I say I will always cut some back as my take profit, right? So if you cut some back, it's telling you it's trying to come to the 50, right?
Okay.
With the pattern measurement you just did. And that's why I use a combination of patterns and these 3 moving averages to determine what I want to do with my trades.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's where it's not just a cut and dry. If this happens, do this. You got to analyze more things than just that one factor. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, your pattern, because remember, these MAs, they're going to act as moving and dynamic zones of support and resistance, right? So even if we did briefly dip down under the MA 50, chances are it's going to try to push it back up, right? Especially if it falls near a psychological level, like 34,000, 35,000, any of those nice round numbers tend to be psychological levels.
Okay.
So, in this case, we calculate out the pattern. It says, okay, it's probably going to come down here. And then we look at the MAs and we say, okay, we know that it's near this zone. So where is it likely to actually go based off of that? Not just the calculation of the pattern, but you got to factor in the other things too, like the MA. Where is it sitting? What's going on with that? So factor those in, make sure that they because you can't use easy for me to say. You can't just use one data set when making a decision. You want to use at least 2. And then you find the information that matches up on both of them. In this case, a target of the MA50, and you go based off of that. But again, because we're still in a pattern at the moment, you would wait for the pattern to break. And everyone's like, and I want to clarify before we move on from that. A lot of people, the moment it dips down outside their line, they're like, oh yes, now's time to short. You wait until a candle begins under that line and then closes under that line. That's a break. If it could begin under it and then over the course of trading get pushed back up, back inside of it. And then in that case, it's just a wick that poked out of it, right?
Okay.
So it's very important that you wait for the candle to open and close beneath or above the line before deciding that it's a break.
Okay. And now let me ask you on that, because some people, myself included, would say, okay, I'm on the 1 minute charts, below the line, I'm good, right?
No.
Okay.
Has to be the higher time frames, because your minute chart, again, we don't use that because it's so fast paced. There's so many variables that can affect it minute by minute. Like one whale decides I'm going to sell 30 Bitcoin, and then everyone's like, oh, snap, that's a deal. I'm going to buy it. Right. So you get that. Whoop, whoop.
Exactly. And I've been trying a lot of different things. I'll do a couple of dollars, and I've been down. I think the lowest I went was the 5 minute, and I'm like, oh my God, this is stupid. Just you can't even keep track. You can't even put in a stop loss before it already hits it. Like, okay, never mind. So of course I have to try to violate all the rules. It's the hard head. Go figure.
Yes, but you learn why the rules are there, right?
Yes.
There are rules written in red, just like OSHA rules, of which there's 80 million of them, are written in blood. Somebody got hurt, and that's why the rule is there, which means someone did something that stupid, right? But that's why it's there. Same thing with safety labels. Like I
Right.
saw on my wife's curling iron, on the cord, there was a warning that said, "Do not insert into any orifice." Which, of course, I was just like, oh my, somebody did something. And so that warning label had to get put on the device itself.
Right. And that there was a lawsuit involved. Somebody probably got millions because there was not that label. They're like, well, I didn't know I couldn't do this with this. And it's like, seriously? Yeah, it's scary. People scare me.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, I'm really curious. Now, we talked about some patterns before. We had that cool diamond pattern. I forget what it was called.
The diamond top on Matic?
Yeah. How did those perform over the last 2 weeks?
That is true, because when we looked at it, we had just fallen out underneath the diamond, I believe, or the diamond was still in something. I think
it was still in progress, but it was really close to the end of it.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
And let's take a look at said diamond.
Ooh. Diamonds are the girl's best friend.
If you guys are familiar with, what's the word? Shoot, I was going to say something. I lost my mind. All right. You got my screen shared? Yes. Okay. So there's our diamond that we had drawn out last week. Now, I know I had other things like a yellow horizontal line that targeted like this region right here, but yeah. So now you can see we knew that Matic was going to come crumbling down here like this because we saw the diamond top pattern right there. So we knew, okay, Matic's going down. And sure enough, it did. It hit our take profit. And just for sanity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and draw this out. So straighten it. We're going to clone. Boop, ba-doop, boop. Oh, look at that. There's our take profit.
Beautiful. Nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you. So, and now, it's working on settling into a new pattern now. It hasn't quite finished making one yet, but it's working on it. So, technically speaking, if we wanted to, we could, hold on, stop it, delete. All right. See that?
I do see that.
So it did get above it, which is good. So it did break out of that trend line there, and now it's above it. So I think, in my opinion, the 75 region for this wound up holding. We're at 76 right now, and it kind of orbited around the that support there. But if you go to the daily chart, and you look historically, the 75 region, anytime it tries to break 95 and fails, it comes down to the 75, between the 70 and the 75 cent region, and then tries to make another go of it. So that's why 75 was the target for our, let me switch back down here to smaller time frame, was our target. We undercut a little bit. It was like 78 based on the pattern. But we felt safe with that as our target because we knew that the support was at 75, right? So we should definitely be able to catch our profit there before it gets to the support.
Okay, gotcha. And now let me ask you, because that was back on the 16th is when that actually occurred. So from then till now, has there been any definitive patterns? Because all I'm seeing is where it went up, it tested these resistance, bounced back, and then it broke through that, and now it turned it into support. But I'm not really seeing any other patterns standing out. Am I missing something there?
No, you're not missing anything. Like I said, it's still trying to define a new pattern now. So, when that happens, we take profit on our trade, and then we wait. We wait until we have a pattern to trade. We wait until it gives us an indication of which direction it's wanting to go. For now, it's just consolidating. The markets, even Ethereum over here, the markets have been consolidating for the last week. Really since the 9th of November, the markets have just been consolidating. And that's okay, because it did run up really far. It was pretty far away. It still is far away from our MA50, just like your Bitcoin chart is far away from the MA50. Right. Ignore this.
You're okay.
So it needs to touch it, which means it's either going to keep going sideways until this 50 comes up and touches it, or it's going to work on pulling back and meeting it. Ideally, we want to see it go sideways, because that means it's more likely to continue upwards when the MA comes up to it. If it comes down to meet the MA, it's more likely that it's going to break through it and go visit the next MA.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. And John, thank you, brother. So, John, pleasure, brother. And we're happy to explain it. You guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. We will absolutely dive into whatever we can here today. And thank you for the $5 super chat. Love you, brother.
You're awesome, John.
My hero. So now, Cyril, we talked about this previously, probably a couple months back, several episodes. This time of year.
Do you see that?
Let's see. Hold on. Can you zoom in a little more? Okay, so what have I got? I've got
this right here.
It's bouncing in that zone between the MA50 and MA100.
It's being squeezed by the MAs. See, first it tried to establish support above the MA50, but it failed. Caught support here. Why did it catch support here? Because this one's more horizontal, right? The steeper the MA, the easier it is to break it. Just remember that. The flatter it is, the more likely it is to stay in that region. Again, okay. It's not for every case, but it is more likely. So now it's stuck ranging between these two until it catches enough momentum to squeeze out one way or the other.
Okay, gotcha. Now let me ask you, because like on this here, I'm looking at, it's like an opening mouth. And there's a pretty good amount. You're on a 4-hour chart. So is this possible, if somebody was feeling stupid like me, to try and catch these short little scalp opportunities? Or are these just playing with fire?
It's playing with fire, because look, it's a difference between the MAs. The range is about 1.38%. Okay. So is it worth it to try to mess with that and risk being caught when it squeezes out the wrong direction of your trade? Or does it make more sense to have patience and wait until it gives us a proper indication?
Gotcha. Grasshopper is learning. Okay. And that's why you're the master. So
it's a good question, though, because it is tempting when it's in a range to trade it, right? But you need to make sure, is this range justifiable enough to trade? Has the support and resistance zones for this range been tested enough times? Is it wide enough for me to catch decent price action movement? I mean, sure, you could take that 1.38% and make it better by using leverage, but it's just not a good setup.
Okay. And that's one of the most important things, especially here in crypto, is sometimes we have to sit on our hands. We have to do nothing. And man, for me, that's the hardest thing of all. I always want to be into a trade, just like after the diamonds, like, okay, hey, I made some profit. Let's start another one. But that's why I was asked, like, did I miss it? Because I'm not seeing nothing to really jump in and say, yes, time to enter a trade.
One of the most common mistakes new traders make is they try to always be in the market.
Yep. And rules of solvency, they teach us. And apparently Rooster says, I've tried that before. It didn't go well. Not gonna buy Rooster, so have I. But
I actually have something for you guys that I took the time to copy over to a Google Doc instead of the Discord that it was in. So let me grab a link for you.
Okay. And John says, this is where Rooster says, Cyril, check your DM.
So the link should show up.
Yes.
Okay. That link right there is a link to a little article that I wrote called The Trading Mindset. Now, it's not done, but there's enough in there to at least get you started. Definitely read it. If you're wanting to become a trader, read it, because it's going to talk to you about the mindset, about some key concepts, and how you should approach it. So give it a little read. If you like it, drop a comment, let us know.
Yes, please do. And no, I think that's great, Cyril. And this is one of those things, a lot of people say, hey, I don't want to trade. I don't want to, get all technical and everything. But I can't stress this enough, guys. The more you know about this space, the better off you are. I mean, last thing you want to do is not even know how to look at a chart and say, oh, I got $100 for Christmas. I'm going to go buy Matic or BNB or whatever. But unless you look at the chart, you have no idea if that thing's going to come crashing down tomorrow. So learning the basics, I think, is really valuable, even if you don't trade on a regular basis.
Can you repost a link from your account here, or for Restream, StreamYard, whatever? Because it looks like Rooster says it's not showing up in chat.
Yes, absolutely. So it's not showing chat. That's odd.
Or he might have been replying to John where he said, or showing up in chat.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to say. So now, Sarah, we talked about this before. Is this time of year in the markets, we can expect a pullback, is what you were saying before. How long do you expect that to last? I mean, what's it usually run like on these cycles?
Okay, they say they can't see the link. So you go ahead and repost it, and I'll answer the question. Okay. So these cycles, how everyone always calls it Uptober, right? Like October is Uptober. And then they talk about, November and then down December, or down December, or I don't know, whatever it is they call it. But yeah, so you got to think a lot of sales are going to happen before the year ends. And there's a couple of reasons for it. One is the obvious reason that you're probably thinking of right now, Christmas, right? The holidays, people want extra cash to spend. Where are they going to get it from? They're going to get it from their speculative assets, right? The second, but the actual reason, is because it is the end of the tax year. Wash trading is not illegal yet in crypto. So you can sell your crypto for a loss and immediately buy it back and still use it as a write-off.
Really?
Yes. So if you haven't done that yet and you have an asset that you want to hold that's down, freaking sell it, use it as a write-off to eliminate gains that you have made, and buy your crypto back. Buy it immediately back. So, sell it and buy it right back.
Interesting. Okay.
Still
not
counts.
Financial advice.
Well, no, not financial advice, but it's just the way it is. Like, you can do that with crypto. Because it's not illegal to do wash trading yet. And so especially the companies that have like crypto on their books, or, they have Bitcoin, or, just regular people who made a bunch of money on some meme coin but need to wipe it off somewhere else, they're going to sell like their longer term asset, that like the Bitcoin they bought at 65K. They're going to sell it for a loss. They're going to buy it right back, or they'll wait a little bit and buy it back because they know everyone else is doing the same thing. Right. Maybe they can buy it back at a better price, but it's a bit of a gamble. But that's the big reason why you see it go down near the end of the year. You will also notice that coinciding with near the end of every quarter.
Okay.
So near the end of March,
Or corporations with quarterly taxes due. That makes sense. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. Can you send me that link in a private chat and I'll post that? Because I'm not able to grab it.
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go. Now, once you post that, I believe we have a dance off.
Yes, we do.
And shout out to all of you guys who remembered to go to the Discord and vote this week, even though we didn't have our episode last week. Appreciate each and every one of you. So I'm going to also chuck 10 USDC into this dance off. So it's going to be a dance off for 20.
Woohoo! Thank you, sir. Very generous of you.
Got to reward the people who show up, right?
Exactly. And the polls are open, guys. They got remade this morning. And so, yeah, the polls are open. We're ready to rock. Excuse me.
Should we do 2 draws or should we do 1 draw 20? Leave it up to you guys. Drop it in here. Write the number 2 if you want 2 draws. 2 dance offs.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, either way. Let you guys make the decision on that. So I had something. I lost it. I forget what it was. No, you're totally fine. I was trying to think. Oh, that was the other thing. So I just read an article today, and I found this very fascinating. I want to get your opinion. I do some crypto mining, of course, with some ASICs, a couple things like that. But of course, doing it at home is not very profitable. So it's very speculative. But I read an article today that Iris Energy out of Australia just bought 7,000 of the next gen T21 Bitcoin miners. And they're going to take up just a huge amount of it. And so we're seeing more of this corporate America company moving into Bitcoin mining, things like that. And even one part of the article said that individual miners like us, we're making up like less than 5% of all the hashes. So I'm curious, how do you think this is going to be with the ETFs, with companies like this coming out and taking over the crypto world? Do you see the wild west of DeFi coming to an end here soon?
Well, I mean, it was inevitable that corporations would eventually take it over, right? It was expected. It was anticipated for a couple of reasons. One, because they want to be able to shape the regulation around it, right? They want to have their playground. And 2, because let's be honest, the competition ain't that stiff. In this space, the competition compared to like corporations with billions of dollars and hedge funds and all of that, we ain't competition to them. They're just going to come in, set up, and they'll own it all, right? The ETH network is already controlled in its entirety by 5 centralized exchanges and companies. So, and the reason why it's entirely controlled is because you only have to control more than 50%, right? And then you can do a 50% consensus attack. So right now, if those 5 companies were working together, and you're kind of dumb if you think that they aren't, they could decide to write a block that says you've got nothing in your wallet, right? They could do that if they wanted to. And all of these companies fall under the jurisdiction of the SEC because of where they're located. The SEC has specifically stated in a lawsuit that they made before against another crypto project that they believe that they should have sole oversight of the entire Ethereum blockchain because the bulk of transactions from any single nation come from the US.
Interesting.
So just figure that out, if you will. Run through the thoughts of, okay, they're coming into the space, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's it was expected for them to come in.
Yep. So yeah, I think the old Wild West gold rush days are coming to an end, guys. So this might be the last bull market where you can really grab it. I don't know. I personally, I think the next cycle is going to be all corporate. I think we're going to have very little say in it.
This will, in my opinion, this is the final bull run that we'll see where the people still kind of have majority, right? And so I think that this is probably going to be the last cycle where you see a lot of meme coins or other kind of stuff like that, or projects popping up that are really just air, right? But everyone buys it anyways because it's the bull market. Everything goes up.
Right.
When in reality, it's not everything going up, right? It's just the chain natives going up. But it's going up because people are buying into the chain natives and then they're using that to buy into the DeFi projects. But because the DeFi projects are paired to the chain natives, they go up.
Right.
So it's this little nasty circle. But yeah, I do think that this is probably the last bull run where we're going to see DeFi playing as big of a part as it has.
Right. So, no, I agree totally. So let's see what the community voted on. So, John Richter says 1 of 20. Apparently, we're having 20 dance-offs. BTK says 2. He wants 2 different dance-offs. Okay. And Rose says Chrome's going to win them both. boys, lucky rabbit. Yeah, he does. He is very good at it. Of course, Chrome's laughing. And Paul, welcome to the show, buddy. Good to have you with us. Just dance off. Now, of course, guys, if you haven't gone through and cast your votes yet, jump in the Discord. And I had the link. There's the link. I lost it. The voting polls are open. And as you guys know, you have to vote. And you can vote for whatever you want. And if there's anything on there you want to add that's not there, hey, throw it in. Share the information in the Discuss the Vote channel. Let's learn about it. That's what we're all about here.
Yep. Because you guys had us buy a couple of things that I knew nothing about, right? Like I had heard of them, but I hadn't done any research. We made money off our elephant money play. We sold our elephant money. It all seemed pretty good. So
yeah. And that's how we learn. We learn together. And so, yeah, the more you guys are willing to share and put out there, the more we know about it. Because, I got to tell you guys, I do this full time and I still feel totally lost every single day. I'm like, wait, what is that? What is that over there? It's, oh my God, there's too much. And it's going to get crazier.
Yep. It's impossible to know everything that's happening in the space, which is why it's important to have good communities of people that you all talk and share among each other. But
exactly. Let's dance off. Okay, so as
Did
always, now we're doing audio. That's a good question. I don't know. Probably not. See, this is why you're here, to babysit me. I see. Share audio. I did share audio. Higher screen. Oh, I did not. Ha.
You didn't. Okay.
I did not. I did on just the screen, but not on the whole screen. So, as you guys know, if you go into the Down Home Crypto Discord, you cast your vote. I collect those names, and every week we do a dance-off. Now, typically, it's a $10 dance-off, unless I win, of course, and then I add $10 to it, and we go again. So, of course, Cyril's always cheering for me.
You now have twice the odds of having it land on you, though.
Oh, man.
We're doing 2 draws.
Yeah, this is a whole nightmare. It lands on me both times. It's like, oh, my God, this could get ugly.
That would be great, because theoretically, if that did happen, if it landed on you the first time for both of them, then, you're giving away $30 and I'm giving away $10.
See, I think on the second one that you're doing, I ought to put your name on there plus 10. Yeah.
Well, hold on now.
We're going to have fun with this, guys. Okay. Are we ready for some dancing, boys and girls?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big money, no whammies. Where am I hiding at? Oh, there I am. I'm second in line. Ooh. Oh, I'm toast. Yes.
Yeah, Roostar, and you got knocked out right away.
Sorry, Rooster. I'm excited for me. I wish you would have hung in there. Keep in mind, we got a whole nother dance off to go here, guys.
Oh,
there goes Cheetos.
Right. So if you die, don't leave yet. Right. Ooh, J-Steen. How is J-Steen on there twice, sir?
I don't know. That's a good question. I will fix that on the next one. Sorry. J-Steen had a bonus round. I will fix that. Oh, giver. Hey, so, of course, now the rules, guys, are you have to DM me before the end of the stream. And if not, then that goes to next week's drawing. So.
Wait a minute. Didn't she win last episode that we did?
One before that. She missed out on it, and Chrome ended up getting it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, because she didn't DM me. So, yeah. And so, hate to say, even the rules apply to Mom. So, Mom, hopefully you're watching, because you got to DM me in Discord before the stream ends.
Yep. So, we got another one to do, but let's make sure that we don't have J-Steen on there twice.
Yes. Good catch. I tried J-Steen, man.
I would, if his second one hadn't gotten taken out in the exact same time, I would have demanded a redraw.
Oh, yeah. We would have redanced doubly.
But they were both taken out by the same fireball, so it wasn't that bad.
They all went down. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay. So, backyard grubfish. And yes, I did edit. Begin. There we go. Standard. Put the names back in. And I will put, okay, only one J-Steen this time. And I will move me from here to, where am I moving me to?
Third from the bottom. Right above BTK.
Right above BTK. Okay.
If BTK gets taken out first, he'll be pissed. And he'll go,
Oh, he's going to be so mad. It's like, why did you put more? So where are we putting you at, Cyril? Kidding. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. We got to catch up here. We had some comments say, guess I didn't vote. Yeah, John, man. Got to get in there and vote. And the polls are open every Thursday morning. I make a new poll. Now, quick alert, guys, is we got to check their Christmas schedule because it looks like probably won't be having Rags to Riches at Christmas. So I'll make sure to make that poll for a 2-week one once that occurs.
Yep.
So be prepared for that one. But yes, the polls are open right now. So right after this, go in and cast your vote.
Yeah, I'm looking at, Christmas time and all of that. You guys aren't really going to want to be here. I'm probably not going to want to be here. We got family in, like all those kind of things, right? Everyone's got something going on, so it's better to just postpone that one.
Right. And so, sorry we didn't let you know about Thanksgiving, but hey, we're giving you heads up on Christmas. So, but make sure to get your votes in. Just notice that too. Let's see. Got taken out. Yeah. Sorry, you got taken out twice, JC, man. You were double slammed. That was horrible. BTK's laughing. Okay, here we go. Second dance off. Same rules applies, guy. Blah. Easy for me to say. Exactly. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big money, no whammies.
Dancing time.
Come on, shake it, little mushroom dude. There you go. Here comes the blades. Oh, and I'm dead again. Woo.
Rooster, you died first both times. Do you have like a target on your back? Because it went through the same path the second time.
It did.
Rose.
That's suspicious. Sorry, Rose. Yeah. Rooster, I still love you, brother. And you were first in today. And so, yeah, you're getting first wiped out every time.
He's like, damn, I should come in like last to the stream next time.
Yeah, it's rigged. I agree, man. I feel the same way. Ooh, that was a double tap. Oh,
Chrome,
my man.
How does he always win? What is up with this? Rose even predicted it. Bring her comment back up. She was like, yeah. Chrome's going to win them both. Boy has his lucky rabbit foot at every dance-off.
Yeah. He's sitting there stroking the kitty. Like, come on, kitty. Give me the look. Give me the look.
I'd be very careful the way that you word that.
Yeah. I try to be nice about it. I said, no! Yep, do it. Chrome. There you go. Chrome's laughing, of course. It's rigged. Yeah, it is totally rigged. I can't control the dance, guys, and I even move the names around. I'm trying to keep it fair, trying to keep it just, so.
Well, I guess, Chrome, send me a DM.
Yep. But you have to do it in the next 15 minutes.
We're running behind schedule today. What's going on?
We are running behind schedule. We're having too much fun. We got to make up for last week. That's what it is.
True that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Let's see how our portfolio did.
Yes. How do we stand so far? Because I know right now the market's kind of been doing the whole zigzag sideways. It doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
Mark has been doing the sideways thing in the last episode that we did. Oh, that's the wrong tab. Don't share that tab. The one that we did, Matic was up at like 89, 92 cents, something like that.
Right.
So Matic did a dump. Okay, it was at 76.8 cents when I did that. So we lost a chunk there. And then, of course, remember our BNB holdings, right? They make up a pretty big percentage right there. And BNB did get slammed this week, more so than the rest of the markets. So let's take a look at our P&L.
Okay.
Zoom in a little bit.
It's not right for me, I can tell.
So this was the last episode that we did. Week 25. We missed this episode. That week was Thanksgiving week. We were up 1.95%. We went from 698 to 712. Woo. $13 gained. And then this week just happened and we got hit pretty hard. We started the week with 737 and 15 cents. We ended the week with 671 and 66 cents. A drawdown of $65.49 or 9.75%. We will start next week So if you look at it, really, we basically just kind of lost this week, because the week prior we were at 698, and the week after we're at 696. So we kind
That
of
would
just
never happened.
there, but
But at the same time, it's one of those where most of those, our Matic and our BNB, they're blue chips. So it's not like we lost because we didn't sell. So
exactly, because that BNB, as things shift and it starts to recover, that's going to come back up, right? The ones, and we did have some losses in the mass token and the paper token. We had a gain in Sol. You guys remember when we bought Sol? We bought $5 worth, right? Because that was our one blue chip DCA. It's currently worth $12.43.
Now, Solana has been on a tear lately. They've been going nuts.
It has.
Now, I know we talked about this previously in one of the earlier episodes, that an article I read that, was it 30% of all their transactions were all due to Star Atlas. And it's still going nuts. And I can tell you that me personally, as a gamer, I bought some of the NFTs, and I've had them for a while now. But I bought 3 of those NFT ships for about $100 a piece. I can tell you right now, they're over doubled in price. And they're still earning Star Atlas every single day. So I'm making sure to collect my Star Atlas, change it into Sol, and take profits regularly. And as they hit the 2x, I'm going to sell one of the ships off, which is going to not only take return everything that I put into it, but start putting me in the profit range with 2 NFTs still left over. So
that's good. And that's the smart way to do it, right? How many people got involved in Axie Infinity when it was a big game, and they had all of these things earning all of this money, and then when Axie Infinity inevitably went and died, they still had it, right? You have to strategically take your profits as it's going up to return your initial back to you, and then start returning profits and keep a small portion of it, right, as your moon bag, and use it to keep earning more. But get your profits, get your initial, get that stuff out, because we're here to make money, not hold the assets until they go to zero eventually.
Exactly. And that's one thing that we've really got to cover, especially right now, because we're going to be moving back into the bull market here, guys. And the opium is going to be flowing. Everybody's like, oh my God, we're going to make millions on this. And yes, marry this project and marry that one. Remember, we are not marrying anything. We are here to strategically invest and make a profit. That's our whole job. Now, we make friends, we make education, we make all kinds of other things, but we don't make a relationship with the crypto project. And I don't care who runs it. I don't care who, even the ones that Cyril is the founder of. I don't marry the project. I'm friends with Cyril as a person. But yes, if it turns into a bad investment deal, I will absolutely cut my ties. And Cyril, I think you would expect me to do so.
I'd be mad at you if you didn't.
Okay.
Because ultimately, you got to remember, guys, everyone out there has their own life, right? They have their own struggles, they have their own issues, they have their own needs, their own wants and desires, right? Everyone is here for a similar but different reason, right? Yeah, we're all here in the space because we want to make money, or we want to build cool tech, or we want to whatever our desire is, right? But it's unique to us. So don't let the way you feel towards others in the space alter your decisions. I've heard people say to me before, be like, oh, I don't want to sell because I know it would dump the chart and I'm friends with all these people, right? I'd be a bad community member. I don't want to ever hear you say that, right? You're not. The whole reason why these projects work is because they get people feeling like part of a community, right? We're family here. The same thing that the business that you work for does. Oh, we're family. And then they give you a pizza party when they've had record profits, right? They don't care about you. They don't. So you should be there to get what is going to improve your life and grow your life and the people around you, your family. That's what matters, right? So don't get caught up in this feeling a certain way about selling, or feeling a certain way about taking profit, or even if you decide to buy into another project that everyone's hating on right now, right? Just because, you see it's doing whatever and it's about to go up, so you want to buy some and take some profit, right? It doesn't matter what other people think. All that matters is, are you doing everything in your power to improve your life for you and your family? That's all that matters.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people get caught up in the drama. And make no mistake, if you said, hey, I love the fact that you're making this project, whatever else, but I don't believe it's going to go where it's going to go, so I'm not going to invest. Doesn't mean we can't be friends. Doesn't mean we can't be part of a community. Just means I'm not going to be a supporter of that particular project. And that's okay. We can all do different things. So don't let anybody tell you differently, guys and gals.
Absolutely. Like, if I decided I wanted to start a project and I tell you the idea and you're like, that doesn't sound like anyone's really going to buy it, I'm good. I would expect that, right? I would expect you to not buy it, and that's, you got to look at things from that standpoint, and don't make the mistake of, just because it's someone that and they say, hey, buy this, don't make the mistake of just going and buying it. Just because it's coming from a trusted source, you should still ask the questions. You should still do the research, because maybe they didn't, right?
Exactly. And
you don't know.
Right. And even with that, and that's one thing I want to warn everybody out there is, as you guys know, I do a lot of AMAs on projects, things like that. And I try to make it very clear is I'm not saying that, yes, you should buy it or no, you don't. I'll tell you if I did. I'll tell you if I think it's good or not for me. But I can't speak for you. And I always try to warn everybody, do your own research. Even if it's something that I go out and present, please question it. I love that. And you know what? I may say, I believe in it. You don't? That's cool. We can still be friends. All right. Nothing wrong with that. I like that different viewpoints, different opinions, because that's where I learn. So thank you, and share everything you can.
Yep, absolutely. Always. We had some question. Yeah,
we did. Yep. So Rooster says, why not stake the mass in the Singularities platform? Earn some extra BUSD. I'm in it for months now, so I can vouch. Only issue is it's locked for 30 days.
So right now, the Rags to Riches has 74.1 cents worth of BUSD that we could claim because we're staked in the Singularities platform.
Good for us. We got 74 cents. But that's 74 more than we had. Now, let me ask you, how's the gas to remove that 74 cents?
It's not bad. I think it's like 7 to 11 cents, depending. So, which is why I haven't claimed it, right? Why eat into profits until we're ready to pull out completely?
Right. That's it. And I know, in fact, I've got to go look because I know I've got something sitting in the Singularity, but I keep forgetting to check on it. It's like, that's the other thing, guys, is you got to keep track of your profits or your projects. So do your spreadsheet, do something, because as the bull market happens, you're going to be throwing money at everywhere and you're going to forget about it.
Yep, absolutely. And you don't want to wind up like, dude, I was looking through my wallets the other day and I was like, oh, there's $200 worth of Matic I forgot about. Oh, there's $1,200 worth of ETH I forgot about. Like, you got to make sure you know where all your stuff's at. Or, because if you've got a bunch of wallets under one seed phrase, then you can forget to check all of them. So just know where your money's at. And exactly what Rose said, do your due diligence.
Exactly. And one thing I want to point out on that now, like Cyril, while you're talking, you said ETH and Matic, and those are blue chips, they're going to go up. But man, when the bull market hits and those DeFi projects happen, you're not monitoring them and keep an eye on them, they could spike up. You could be in profits, but you forget about it for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're in a loss. So, man, there's something you got to watch. Got to stay on top of it.
Dude, last bull run, I did a play on one project. I'm not going to mention any names, but it was definitely a meme token, right? When I bought in, their chart wound up doing about an 89x. Oh. But it went 89x and then bloop, and it did it in a span of about 4 days, right? So if I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't aware of it, I would have wound up selling at a loss 4 days later. 89x loss in a span of 4 days. So, and yes, I did sell when it was 89x, but
I hope so.
I think I'd only put like $150 into it though, because it was a meme coin and it was during the bull market. So I was just going around sprinkling $150 buys into various projects, because believe it or not, that's an actual strategy you can do during the bull market. Just understand, do it with amounts you're okay with completely losing, right? You might hit on one of them and it will make up for everything else, but you might not hit one. So just make sure it's small increments that you're okay with maybe catching a 10, 20x on, and, or maybe losing altogether.
Absolutely. And as always, Rose, I want to reiterate again, because I think that's great. Do your own due diligence. Don't listen to me, guys. Don't listen to this guy over here. Even as smart as we appear to be, or we think we are, we don't know your situation. So do your own diligence, because in DeFi, you are absolutely accountable for your own decisions.
Yep.
Well said there. Okay, so we ready to see the votes?
Yes. Let's see what we're buying this week.
Sure? Really sure?
Now I'm worried.
I know, I'm just doing it for fun now. Okay, so this week, our votes come in as Blue Chip BNB. Good choice.
Good choice.
And it's on sale. I like that. And for DeFi, come out with 4 votes was Switch.
Switch, huh? Okay. Yeah. I know that you know a bit about what Switch is doing. I know I popped in on your live AMA that you were doing with them and listened to them talk for a little bit. Sounds like they're getting ready to release, what, a Perps Dex or something?
Yep. Perpetual Dex is going to launch on December 4th. And so that's up until that point, the Switch token is still essentially a rebasing token, if you will. But that's not going to stop the rebasing at that point in time. That's not going to happen until probably a month or so down the road. So it still gives us an opportunity to collect more Switch tokens once we buy into it. We don't have to lock them, which is great. I love that factor. But there is a sale limit, no more than 20% in a 10-day time frame. I think is what it is.
Ooh.
So we got to keep an eye on that until the phase 2, and then they're going to remove all that.
Now, okay, so once they, do they have an ETA on that? Because I don't like having funds locked, and that's essentially locked funds, right? 80%'s locked. If you can only sell 20%, how are you ever supposed to sell all of it?
Right, 20% per 10 days.
Right, so each 10 days, you could only sell 20% of it, and percentages of a shrinking amount become even less, right? So, first, if I have 100 tokens, I'm selling 20 of them. Next week, I'm selling 16, and then what would that be? The following week, 12.8. It would take forever to exit.
Right, and so that is going away on phase 2. They're estimating 2 to 4 weeks, but there is no set time frame. But definitely go and watch the AMA that I did, because that does give you a full breakdown if you're curious about the Switch protocol. I can tell you, yes, I am invested. I think it's got a solid foundation. I like the team. It doesn't mean it's good. That's just my decision.
Well, you guys voted for it, so we'll buy it. I'm not going to override you because it's not something where it's too much of our portfolio or, whatnot. So I'll allow it. I'll put it through. I personally probably wouldn't, but that's just because I don't like having my money restricted like that. Now, that's not to say that after they got rid of that in phase 2, I wouldn't reconsider it, right? I might. But just at least until then, I really don't see it changing too much price-wise in, the next 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. So it'd be more a case of, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll reevaluate. When that goes away, I'll look at maybe doing a buy or something. But that's just me. Everyone has their own risk tolerances. Everyone has their own idea of what is and isn't acceptable for their own money. There's people You buy treasury bonds and lock it for freaking, what is that, 15 years?
Right. Yeah.
And that's fine, right? But I mean, it's a little different, right? Because it's the U.S. government and the treasury bonds, not DeFi. But everyone has their own acceptable risk levels.
And I think this is a great example that we're giving right here, Cyril. This is a project, one that I am buying in, and you wouldn't at the time, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree, and that's a great thing here about DeFi, guys. Is we don't all have to agree. We don't all have to say that yes, it has to be unanimous. It doesn't have to be. Do what you feel is right.
Man, if it were unanimous in this space, nothing would get done.
No, it's like the U.S. government, man. There's no way.
Nope. But
let's see. BTK says that sounds bad. Just buy BNB. Fortunately, BTK, we got to respect the community because you guys voted for it. And so even if it's something I think is horrible or Cyril thinks is horrible, unless it's just ungodly horrible and we know something, we're going to go with what you guys say because we're here for you. And that's what it's all about.
Yep, absolutely. And, I know he's a chain native maxi, and that's okay too.
Right.
Most of my current holdings are in chain natives.
Right. And Rooster, it is the old Titano. You're absolutely right. It's gone through a couple of renditions, some changes and stuff, but definitely go out and watch the AMA because I asked a ton of these questions and even some very uncomfortable questions, shall we say. So go back, check it out, and I'll probably be doing more events in the future with it because I really enjoyed my time with Summit and Mike. Well, both guys were great, had a ball with them, and so it's something that I think it's worth checking out, if nothing else, even if you're not interested. Learning about something is always good.
Right. And even if you're not interested, you should still especially if it's something that he says he's interested in and I say I'm not, look through it. See if you can figure out why I'm not. See if you can figure out why he is, right? Because getting into the minds of other people is also a big part of investing, right? That's why community sentiment and sentiment around a protocol or a chain matters so much, right? And you want to be aware of that kind of stuff. So even if it's just for the sake of learning, anytime you hear about a project, whatever project it is, whoever mentions it to you, check it out, right? Just because it's a learning experience at the very least.
Exactly. And Rooster says, wait, did you guys answer my question about singularities? I had to take my headphones off for 30 seconds.
Well, that 30 seconds was when we addressed what you said. And the answer was half of our mass is staked in the singularity, and we have a claimable 74.1 cents right now of BUSD.
Yep. So, yes, we are doing that, Rooster. Thank you for checking back on us, brother. And, guys, as always, the only thing we ever ask is, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and tell your friends about us because we're here to try to educate, to teach, and to go on this journey together. We don't always have to agree. And we may be in totally different fields, but that's okay. We're on the journey together. And so that's what makes it great. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So, Cyril, I want to thank you again for joining us tonight, brother. And it's good to be back up here. I missed it. And everybody, go cast your votes, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and thanks, Serenity, for hosting. See you guys all next Thursday.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Take care.